Don't go, big guy. It's not safe.
I have to, babe. They need me out there.
But their guns are so big. How will you ever stop them?
The cowboy looked at his girlfriend longingly.
I have to do what I have to do.
The cowboy rode off on his trusty steed. He had to put a stop to the injustices that the Black Crow gang had been committing, and the cowboy, being sheriff in the town, had to find them.
I have to find them. I'll check their old hideout outside of town.
Watch out for that old sheriff. He'll be coming soon for the money we stole. Hey, are you guys even awake?
His men jumped into action. There was about 4 or 5 of them.
We have to look sharp, guys.
The cowboy came up on the hideout. The Black Crow gang was being headed by Rusty Jenkins, the most notorious bank robber east of Shanghai.
I'll come up that mountain there and see if I can get a good looking spot.
The cowboy clambered up the mountain.
Oh, there's Rusty, that slimy old coot. I've been chasing him for 9 years and I finally got him. I just have to wait for the opportune moment.
But before he had the chance...
Why, hello there, Master Sheriff. Fancy seeing you here. Not.
We meet again, Rusty. I should have killed you when I had the chance.
And the same to you, my old friend.
This is your last warning to come quietly.
Oh, there will be none of that, you filthy animal.
Then you're going down.
Get them, boys.
Ah! The henchman attacked the sheriff. Luckily, he was a master black belt trained in martial arts.
Ha 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 ha. You are clearly outmatched, old man.
Au contraire, you dumb bear.
Master Sheriff Rick then proceeded to beat the living crap out of the henchman, an absolute curb stomp of a fight. Master Sheriff Rick pulled out his katana and then proceeded to line up each henchman and ran down with the katana out, severing each head one by one.
I see you haven't lost your touch, old man.
Master Sheriff Rick, his face dried with the blood and guts of his enemies, then lunged at his ultimate foe. But Rusty was far too fast and got out of the way, leading the master head into a tree. Master Rick awoke tied to a tree.
Ah, I can't move. Rusty.
But Rusty was long gone.
How would he have left me to live? Huh? What's that?
He noticed a small note stabbed in front of him.
He left me a note.
The note read,
Wondering why I left you, old man? What am I even saying? Of course you are, you dumb oaf. Well, I will leave the surprise of that for you. Let's just say that your dumb broad is in a worse situation. Ah ha 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 ha.
She's not a broad. You'll pay for that one, you old coot.
He yelled, but once again, Rusty was nowhere to be found.
I need to find a way out of this rope.
The sheriff began frantically looking around for something to cut with. A knife caught his eye.
It's too far. I can't reach it.
Sheriff Rick struggled to pull the knife in with his foot.
Almost got it.
Rick wrapped his foot around the knife.
Got it. Now I can finally cut myself free.
Sheriff Rick breaks free from the rope.
Now I've got to get my girl. First, I got to get my sword.
Sheriff Master Rick started his long walk toward the mountains in the west. And here's a quick message from our sponsor. This broadcast is brought to you by FarmersOnly.com. Find your true love. It worked for me, and it'll definitely work for you. Yeehaw!
Finally, I made it to the armory cave.
Sheriff Rick ran inside.
Where's my sword? It must be around here somewhere.
He searched around frantically.
Here it is. Rusty and his men must have tried to hide it. Ah, just as I left you. Now I've got to go get my girl. Roscoe! Miss me, boy? I sure missed you.
Sheriff Rick mounts his trusty steed.
Let's do this. Ha!
What? Where am I? Hello, Mr. Sheriff Rick. Welcome to my secret lair.
Let me go. Why do you even need me anyways? It's my husband that you want.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me show you my evil plan.
Rusty rolls in a chalkboard.
First, I need to take you to the very beginning. I was born in Bulgaria. Shortly after my birth, my parents were both slaughtered. Luckily, I was able to escape. I made my way through Northern Europe, getting by as best as I could. I ultimately ended up stowing away on a ship that brought me to London. I'd been living on the street for a few weeks when I noticed a very large ship in the harbor. In fact, it was the biggest ship I had ever seen. It was the Titanic. I knew I had to be part of this historic voyage. I couldn't just let opportunity pass me by, so I stowed away. One night, while I was sleeping, I was woken up by a huge crashing sound. Next thing I know, I'm chest deep in ice-cold water. I did what anyone would do and swam through the new hole in my wall. It took me 2 whole minutes to swim to the surface. I climbed onto the very iceberg that had torn our ship apart, so I could rest. I watched as the ship went down, and I tried to get into a life raft, but nobody would let me on. So I hardened my spirit and I swam 42 days to the United States. I've spent my whole life chasing one thing, economic prosperity, and now I will finally have it.
I still don't understand. Why am I here?
Step 1, capture you. Step 2, lure in Sheriff Rick. Step 3, crush Rick into the ground. Step 4, hijack the Continental Railroad and steal all the gold. Step 5, feed you to my new dogs.
Feed me to your dogs?
Yes, because you remind me of all the people who wouldn't let me into their life rafts.
Somebody save me!
Nobody can save you now.
What is it, boy? She's close?
Roscoe confirmingly nods his head.
Good job, Roscoe.
Rick gets off his horse.
Time to kick some cowboy butt.
As night falls, Sheriff Rick approaches Rusty's evil mountainside lair.
Alright, here goes nothing.
Sheriff Rick falls 20 feet from Rusty's skylight.
Hello, Sheriff Stupid. Welcome to my lair.
Sheriff Rick goes unconscious. He awakes the next day.
What happened?
You fell from the sky like a little girl.
Let me go right now.
No.
I command you.
Okay, my answer is still no.
Ah.
Now you will be forced to watch as I hijack the Continental Railroad and achieve economic prosperity.
I'll get you for this, Rusty.
Oh, and your annoying wife is tied to the tracks. Ah ha ha ha.
No, Giselle!
Later, loser.
Rusty and his men ride off towards the train.
I've got to get out of these ropes. The train will kill Giselle in 5 minutes. Roscoe, bite these ropes off. Good boy.
Rick mounts the horse.
Take me to Giselle. Hyah! Oh no, Rusty just took over the train. Faster, boy.
Roscoe pulls up next to Giselle. Rick gets down to free her.
I thought you wouldn't come.
Are you kidding?
No, I was hopeless.
So does this relationship just mean nothing to you?
Of course it does. Free me, hurry.
How do I know you aren't just saying that so I save your life?
Rick, please.
Rick takes out his knife and frees Giselle.
Thank you.
I know you're working with Rusty.
No, don't be crazy.
Rick socks Giselle and knocks her out cold. He leaves her there, confident that Rusty won't run over his partner in crime.
We meet again, Sheriff Rick.
Rusty waves at Rick as the train rolls over Giselle's lifeless body.
Oh no, she really did love me.
So close. See you in another life, loser.
This is not over.
Two years have passed since Rick and Rusty's encounter. Rusty now runs a quiet town in the desert, and Rick is determined to bring him down. Rick slowly walks into the town.
Time to kill this son of a...
Rick walks to the center of town.
Come out here and face me, you pig.
That can't be who I think it is.
Rusty walks out to his balcony.
We meet again, Sheriff.
I ain't no sheriff no more. They said I wasn't allowed to kill you in cold blood if I was.
Well, you've come all this way. Why don't you do it?
Because I want to see the fear in your eyes when you die.
It seems that a duel is what you want.
Seems so.
Rusty puts on his gun belt and heads downstairs.
This town's got no room for people like you. Leave now and I spare your life.
The men line up on opposite sides of town. Everyone is watching.
That was for Giselle.